Welcome everybody back to another NWA Spotlight. It's a weekend, which is unusual for us to be doing NWA a weekend, but it's always good. I'm joined as always by my Scottish compadre, the NWA Queen, Miss Fiona Loughlin, just in from a chaotic show, I believe.
Just in from a wild weekend of shows, absolutely.
How are you though? Is Scotland snowing? Are we seeing any
No,
skin?
it was beautiful today,
No?
absolutely gorgeous, and I was stuck inside a community hall all day, so I never saw any of it.
No, well, it's been free. It's actually, I thought it was winter this morning over here. I took my son football or soccer for our guest purpose. And yeah, it was freezing. I was standing there shriveling up like a prune for most of the
Lovely.
day. But anyway, enough about me, enough about you. It's our favorite show, the Spotlight edition on the NWA. And this time we have one of the guests that we were looking forward to the most when we sent out some, feelers out to some of the roster. We always wanted to get one of the Southern. Is it 1/3 or 1/6 fee? Of this? How do we want?
I'm not sure. I think that's something that we have to ask our
We'll have
guests.
to ask, I guess, Mr. Alex Taylor from the Southern Six. How are you?
I'm living the dream, baby. I'm
We
glad to be here. You guys broke out the big guns for this episode.
did.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we might as well kick things off. Is it 1/3 of the Southern Six, or is it a six of the Southern Six we've got here today?
Well, before I came onto this show, I consulted some lawyers and stuff. There's a lot of things I don't need to talk about, so
Of course.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on all questions related to the Southern Six.
Okay. This could be a quick interview.
But let's just start with a better question, Alex. Obviously, the NWA. What is it that's in your mind that's so special about the NWA? You've been there a good few seasons now. What is it for you that's so special about it?
Oh, it's if I had to put my finger on it, I think just the environment, the feel of the whole show. It's got that, I don't want to say old school throwback, but because I don't think we're stuck in the past, but I think we're something different.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, for you that's watched it, I think ever since the Lightning one, maybe before, I can't remember now.
Yeah, beginning of power, I've been there since. So,
What is it for you, Fee, that makes the NWA so special in your eyes?
I like. So I've been to shows as well. I've been out at tapings. I've been at some of the live bigger shows.
Yeah.
I like the small kind of. It's almost personal. It almost feels like, particularly when you're in the studio, that it's for you, not anyone else round about you. But I like the old school vibe, particularly in the first couple of seasons, the old kind of TV vibe of it. It's moved a little bit away from that now with the newer seasons and the new setup and the new production and stuff. But I do like the smaller kind of setting. And I love the fact, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. I love the length of the episodes. I do not have 3 hours to sit down and watch a wrestling show. A show that's 50 minutes, 60 minutes is perfect for me as a full-time worker, a mom with three kids who spends all her weekends at wrestling shows herself. So I love the fact that it's just an hour and it's three, sometimes four really, really good matches in that hour. It's full of action, it's constant. There's not a lot of filler, so to speak, in them. So that's what I like about it.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Alex, from your point of view, we talk about the roster quite a bit. I'm going to make an analogy, and I've done this with Carl, as you know, Fee. This is a different analogy, though. We're talking about the roster in NWA, and it reminds me, and it goes back to the early sort of 90s of Raw. If you can remember when WWE was moving, or WWF at the time was moving into the Attitude Era, and I'm talking about more about the characters in its diverseness. So you had like the Stone Cold, you had the Rocks, you had the Triple H's, but then you had like Kane, Mankind, the Oddities, and Vader, and people like that. In the NWA now, I don't think there's any company out there that has a broader scale of what I would class as characters. So you've got like the EC3s, you've got like your traditionalists, Tim Storm, EC3s. You've got that tag team, you've got the factions like Pretty Empowered and the Southern Six. But then you spin that and you've got like, although we haven't seen them recently, you've got like Yarbo and Ruffo, you've got Gags, you've got Alex Misery and James Mitchell. And then you spin that 180 again and you get another character like Max the Impaler. I don't know if you agree, Alex, but it feels like a really big, diverse characters on that roster.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I mean, you got guys like Magic Jake as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion, I think there's a little bit too much fat in the locker room that needs to be cut out. But if it was me, it's up to me. The Southern Six would be on every episode. I mean, I think there's a little too many people getting in the way of that.
Interesting. Fido, do you kind of agree with that analogy that, in terms of diverseness, there is so many different types of characters in the NWA roster than perhaps any other roster currently in America?
Yeah, you can go from kind of show to show, and you can go from one extreme to the other on it. And you'll maybe go 2 or 3 weeks without seeing the same people
Yes.
because there is so many characters. But obviously, as Alex says, the more Southern Six, the better.
Well, indeed. Alex, we'll see, how much are you looking forward to the Crockett Cup now? It's coming up. We know that there's, I think, some tapings coming up, or there have been some tapings where potentially there's going to be some qualifying rounds. I think there's even a qualifier, maybe even at one of those events at the weekend coming up. But are we going to see yourself and Kerry in these tag matches, or you and Thrillbilly or someone like that from the Southern Six?
So, see, this is where it gets weird with these tapings we've done, because I'm not 100% sure what I can talk about and what I can't say, but I will say Crockett Cup, the Southern Six is leaving with that Crockett Cup.
There we go.
We might be leaving with some other gold as well. So drop that for you.
Isn't that right? Am I right? Is Philbitty going after EC3 now? This is where we are, right? Currently.
Yeah.
Yes. They should be having a match on Power coming up soon. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after.
Really?
And also, me and Kerry will be whooping the hell out of Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch in a cage. So
I'm looking forward to that one. Do you think that's going to be quite a challenge for you guys? Two big guys in a ring. I've seen what you can do. I've seen what Kerry can do. How much experience of cage matches have you had?
I grew up in the cage, so I don't need no more experience. I got it. I don't think I'll break a sweat in this match. And Kerry, that boy's a dog, so
he certainly is. But in terms of cage matches, though, Alex, what is how do you prepare to yourself to do it? Because obviously it's not just a standard, squared circle. You now have this, 16-foot, 15-foot high cage that's coming out. How do you prepare yourself both physically and mentally for one of those matches?
Well, I like to prepare with the special drink that comes in the can, 96 calories. It's called Miller Lite. I have a few of those the night before, get my meditation on. That's about it.
That Miller Lite, I'll have to try that before.
Drink of champions.
Oh yeah.
Drink of champions. Reverting back to the Crockett Cup, though, there is a massive prestige about that in general. The NWA. There's all the Crockett Cup's always been this big, massive tournament. What would it actually mean to you personally if A, you just say, for argument's sake, you're in it, and B, that you win that with the lineage and the presidency that's come before you?
I mean, that's huge. That's there's only a handful of winners. I think to put our name in stone with those guys, that means a lot. I think Southern Six, etch it in stone, baby. It's coming.
Be interesting to find out. Fiona, you've been there. You've loved this cup. What does it, again, the prestige for you, what does it mean as a fan watching the Crockett Cup? And you've been there live, so obviously.
I've been there live. I love tag team wrestling. That's no secret. I don't know what it is about tag team wrestling that I like. I mean, I like wrestling in general, but there's something really, really exciting about tag teams. And I think tag team wrestling for me and the Crockett Cup, I'm trying to think of the right words. It's almost like an anything goes. People that you think are maybe going to do really well, maybe not so well. There's a lot of surprises in it. It's one of these kind of tournaments that keeps you on your toes, and it could go either way. I was really, really fortunate to see the Briscoes when I was out there. So that was 2022. I was out and saw the Briscoes at the Crockett Cup. Really fortunate to see. I was really excited because I thought I was going to see Doug and Nick team up, old school British Invasion. Obviously, that all changed, and we ended up seeing Doug and Harry Smith. But that was really, really cool to be there and see like someone from the UK in it. They bring folk in from all over. So I love the fact that it's not just an NWA tournament. They are bringing teams in from outside.
I'd just like to say it wasn't very cool for me because I was expecting Nick Aldis, and I had to get in the ring with that gorilla Harry Smith. So I
Yeah,
didn't enjoy it as
he's a
much.
big lad. He is a
Yeah.
big lad.
He's a
So is
big
Doug,
one.
to be fair, but
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
Doug's no
Doug's a small
slouch.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug's no slouch, but Harry's a bit of a beast. I actually know him quite well. Alex, we've made a good point. Tag team wrestling in general is kind of like a dying art in other areas. It has its peaks and its troughs. I mean, when I was growing up as a boy, it was massive. You had LOD, Demolition, Powers of Pain, people like that. You know, the Midnight and Rock and Roll Express was still, doing it on the scene then. But it does have its peaks and troughs. Being a part of a tag team or even a faction, do you find that the NWA actually takes pride in its tag and the faction divisions that you guys have?
I think so for sure. I think there's a long history of great tag team wrestling in the NWA, and for us to keep, I mean, we have Harry in the group and his father Ricky, one of the great tag teams of all time. But I mean, for me, I've always just teams growing up, teams I watched later. I mean, because I wasn't there when it happened, but guys like the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. I've watched all those matches so many times. It's just, I agree. I love tag team wrestling, and I can't really put my finger on why, but it just, for me, it's I don't know. Everyone, you want that singles glory, that gold, but something about tag team wrestling is just, it's different, special.
Yeah, it certainly is. I love tag team. I like 6-man tag team. But let's talk a bit about you, Alex. Growing up, when you was growing up as a kid watching wrestling, who was it that you was sort of drawn to growing up, and how did you end up in the business, and where did you go training, and how did you end up into the NWA?
See, I know everyone's always got that story of flipping the channels and finding wrestling, but for me, it was just always on at my house. My dad always had it on, so I don't. It's just something that was always there. I mean, as a little kid, I remember very just kind of watching WCW. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall were the coolest. But as I got a little bit older, Shawn Michaels was my guy always. Then guys like Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, and actually Benoit, after that whole tragedy, through all that, that's how I found Dynamite Kid and started watching all of his old stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, and after high school, I played football, American football, the real football.
Well, that's fighting talk.
Oh yeah, but I finished there, and I really wanted to play college football, but turns out when you go to college, they expect you to go to class and make good grades. So after that didn't work out, I moved back home and got a job installing granite, which was fun. But then I was just searching for wrestling schools one day, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, Seth Rollins just opened a school in Iowa," and I was like, "Cool, I'm going to do that." And didn't look into it at all. Just signed up online, sent them my money, and ended up driving about 10 hours to Davenport, Iowa, a few months later, and that's how it all began.
The rest is history, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and but I trained. That was a whole nother story. But I moved back to Tennessee. I'm doing these terrible shit indies like we all do. Afraid I'm going to be stuck there forever. When a man that's known now by the name of Danny Deals found me in a locker room and took me with him on the road, and that's what changed my life. That's the only reason I'm in the NWA today is because of him and Crimson.
Interesting. Did you say about Seth Rollins' school? Did you actually ever get a chance to talk to Seth or have a chat about anything with him, or was he always traveling at the time with the WWE?
No, he was there most of the time. We would have class three nights a week, maybe 4. I'm not sure, but he was there usually 3 days out of the week, 2 or 3 days out of the week, unless they were overseas or something.
Yeah,
but he actually, during our training classes, when he won the world title for the first time, and I remember that pretty well because I was like, man, I'm glad I got in when I did because the rate of the school is going to go up a lot. And I wouldn't have been able to.
I can imagine.
That's really interesting. That Seth Rollins school. I know he's a coffee connoisseur, a bit like me, but I didn't know about it. I knew he had a school, obviously. But when you're going out to the NWA, Fiona, we've talked about this quite a lot. The production level, since obviously the CW, even before CW, the production level keeps increasing and getting better and better and better and better. How good is it now to be on that CW app? No, and also because very soon, I think even as soon as this fall, there's going to be another wrestling company on there, I believe, not necessarily by the name of NXT. Does it really put you in good stead that you're on there? You're on there every week now, and it's just really heightened how big the NWA is getting.
Yeah, I think we can feel it in the locker room, the momentum we're gaining. But hey, I don't know. Right as of right now, my checks haven't changed, so hopefully they'll be going up soon.
Indeed, Feet, go ahead because I know you've got some questions, so just go right.
I do, but I want to come back to the tag team thing. Obviously, the Southern Six. There's three main players. There's yourself, there's Kerry, and there's Thrillbilly. With tag team championships, or even with the Crockett Cup or the World Tag Championships, what's your thoughts on freebirding them?
Well, that's always an option. So I don't want to lay out all my cards right now for you, but we can see what happens. I think those World Tag Team titles, it's only a matter of time until we get our hands on those.
I think that's a fair assumption. They are beautiful, beautiful looking belts. They are absolutely stunning belts. I can see them round your waist. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if, as far as freebirding them goes, I don't know if Thrillbilly's going to have time because I think EC3 is running from him right now, and it's only a matter of time before Thrilly catches up to him. He takes that 10 pounds of gold. So
I am so looking forward to seeing that match. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's one of those ones I'm very much looking forward to. I'm a big EC3 fan though, unfortunately, but
we
it's
no,
nothing personal against the brother. I kind of like him, but sorry,
you got to stick with your boy.
Yeah,
We've only just recently got access to the CW and the current seasons of Power. Obviously it's not available overseas at the moment, which is really, really unfortunate. So we've had to go down I bit the bullet after moaning about it for a long, long time. I eventually got a VPN, and I am actually so impressed with how much the production levels have increased, even from last season that I could watch on YouTube to now. It's just really, really good to see the better camera angles, the better shots, the new kind of intros and things like that. So the fact that we are actually going to be able to watch the match between Thrillbilly and EC3 excites me quite a lot. So I'm not even going to pretend it doesn't.
Yeah, definitely.
And to go back to your question earlier about being on the CW app, I know everyone. I don't really buy into the internet crap too much, all the chatter, but I remember there's like a lot of people talking like it was a negative thing when they announced CW. But I mean, the biggest wrestling company in the world just announced they're going to Netflix, right? And not to compare the CW app to Netflix, but I think the whole world's leaving TV. That streaming is the future. So it's the way I look at it. It's a lot better than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah. I think it's a smart move. I do, because I agree with you absolutely. I know, like in my own house, I don't really watch regular TV, so to speak. I have my Fire Stick. I can flick through. I'll watch Netflix or go on Amazon or whatever. So, absolutely, I'm totally in agreement with you on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
The NFL season is the only time of year I watch regular TV, and that's honestly, actually half those games I find through streaming apps.
Sure.
To play games, so.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think there's anything bad about it. It was just the frustration from the international fans where we couldn't see it until.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Which is, when you're doing a podcast weekly about Power and we're having to read the results instead of watching it, was a bit awkward for a few weeks or months. I can't remember how long it was since it was 8 weeks.
Like 2 months, I think. Yeah.
2 months before you bit the bullet. You bit the bullet before me though, so I did.
I did. I caved in. I gave up. I couldn't not see it any longer.
I'm trying to get over there and wrestle for you guys, so I need people over there to see me.
Absolutely, because that's it. It'll open up a whole new market for a lot of you guys. And NWA isn't huge in the UK, and obviously at the moment, because most of the wrestling population, fan population over here can't access it. I find that actually quite sad, because the product that you're putting out just now is top class, and the production's great, and the roster's unbelievable, and every match that you're putting on is really, really high quality. And I find it quite sad that it's only gone out to such a small market. So hopefully that'll improve soon, because it'd be great for you guys to get your names out there across the rest of the globe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
Definitely, because I think EC3's not long come back from the UK, because he defended £10 of gold over here. I want to say one of the Page sisters is due to come, or maybe that was moved. Maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, I can't remember. But it'd be good to have some of the NWA guys over here for shows, especially in the
Get
UK.
Billy to bring you over in the summer. The Smashing Pumpkins are coming to the UK this summer. Tell him you need to come too, and do like the Australian, the UK version of the Australian tour or something.
I was really hoping that's what we were going to do, but nothing's been said, so I assumed we would have heard about it by now. If we were
I would have thought so, because I think it's only like 2 months away or something. I think it's June he's coming over. So
yeah, and my birthday's in June, so I was looking at the dates. I was like, it's a show.
You could have had a birthday party in Scotland or England. It would have been fab.
Awesome. That would have been great.
My birthday's in June as well. So what day, Alex?
15.
5 days before me. Although I'm slightly older, I am celebrating a milestone birthday this year. But you don't.
Me as well.
You don't ask a bald man his age over here. That is a lot. It's 4-0. But anyway, moving forward, looking further down the line, NWA 76 was announced, and it was even announced that they're going to the old ECW arena, which is amazing. Great. It's a 2300, I think it is the arena it's going to. When you're going into sort of places with that nostalgic feeling as well, and the background and everything about that, does it make it even more special when you get there and you're going into these sort of, just say, arenas that have been nostalgic for over sort of 20, 30 years?
I've never wrestled there before, and I've always heard that place is a dump. So I'll just say it, whatever. People of Philadelphia can get over it. Yeah, I heard it's a really trash place, so I'm not looking too forward to it. But I mean, if we're going to the Mid-South Coliseum or something, I'd be excited. But
okay,
it is what it is. The night ends with the 6 holding gold. So.
You may not get out of there now. You said. Now, those fans are crazy.
Well, I have the biggest man who ever lived on my side, so I'll take my chances.
Yeah. This is true. This is very true. Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, you might just make it out. We'll see how you do. Fee, look, before we start wrapping up, I always say, go for that. You always got the last question. This is your baby. This is your show for us.
This is my show. Okay, so tag team back again, because obviously you are in the Southern Six. Who is the one tag team, if any, because I'm trying to rack my brains, that you've not faced in the NWA that you want to get your hands on?
Ooh. Well, BFT would be my first choice, because right now they have titles.
They have the belts, absolutely.
Outside of them, let me think for a second. I have an answer that I don't know if they're a team yet on the current. I'm just going to skip that one. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Tell us off air.
Okay. But yeah, them, the Immortals. I mean, those are some big old boys too. So I think that'd be a hell of an opportunity for them to show what they got against Southern Six.
But, yeah, because they just dropped in the episode that's just passed. They just dropped the National Tag Team Championship, or the US Tag Team Championships, and then obviously went for the World Championships and were not successful. So, yeah, I think that would be a good one for you. I'd quite like to see that. They are big lads, both of them.
The good thing is that if you did go for BFT, at least you have someone on the outside that can keep Aaron busy.
Yeah. Ricky'll punch him right in the face. You don't mess with Ricky Morton.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that Aaron, you need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, you do, but you don't mess with Ricky Morton. Absolutely. Just to elaborate on Fee's question a bit more, if you could choose any tag team on outside of NWA, who would you like to face, given the opportunity?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is FTR. I think they're the best in the world right now. What they do,
Definitely.
There's so many answers for this that it's hard to just pick. Yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind.
A nostalgic one then? What about a nostalgic past one?
You mean guys that are still going, or
whatever, just anybody that, yeah.
I mean, if we had a time machine, the Bulldogs. That's always That's why part of the reason Wrestling Harry was so cool.
Yeah.
Such a mark for the British Bulldogs. But hey, the brothers up in Canada right now, working for Brett. The Bulldogs, I forget.
Billington.
What they're calling themselves, but
is it Billington Bulldogs? Is it?
Yeah, Billington Bulldogs. I wouldn't mind getting there with them. That would be fun.
Interesting.
Okay.
Very, very interesting. Fee, we're going to start wrapping up. I know you've had 2 shows already, but give us you're one of the most busiest women I know. So what's going on?
You're not going to believe this. I actually have 2 weeks off. So the day job and 2 weekends off of shows, and then it ramps up in May. I've got a load of stuff coming up with PBW, BCW, W3L, MEE, so lots of shows going on, and also obviously Inside the Ropes, which I plug every single week. We have a show coming up 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June with the legend that is Jake the Snake Roberts in Glasgow, Manchester, and London. Tickets available from itrtix.com. Come along, meet Jake, get your photos, sit down and listen to the stories that are going to come out of his mouth, because I can guarantee there will be some absolute belters. So yes, itrtix.com. But that's it. 2 weeks off. Yes.
Lucky you. I can definitely agree with Jake. We've had him on here before. He was great to have on. In terms of us, before we let Alex finish off with his schedule, we're going to be, bearing in mind, the time of recording is the 20th of April on a Saturday. So the next day, tomorrow, Sunday, the 21st, we're at Ignite Wrestling. Our Hitting the Turnbuckle men's champion, Smashy Mike, will be going against the brilliant James Ellis. And then in July, so we're mushing it down. We do have a couple of guests I can announce on the show before that. But in July, tickets are on sale now. Go to Eventbrite at Ignite Wrestle Pro. But the Hitting the Turnbuckle sponsored show, the whole show is sponsored by us. It's Buckle Up 2. Fiona, you were there last year. I believe someone was sat next to you that got a very hard chop, if I remember rightly. Buckle Up 2. Yes, but Buckle Up 2 is probably with one of the most hardest choppers in the business, in Luke Jacobs. He's going to be headlining that show. So, Alex, you won't know who Luke Jacobs is, but if you Google him, you'll know who he is. There'll be more and more matches to be announced as we go along. I can't announce any further matches as it stands, other than the fact that the Turnbuckle title match will be from the winner of the triple threat match tomorrow night. So we will know who the men's Turnbuckle Championship match will be going on at Buckle Up. Until then, we do have Jonathan Coachman coming on very soon as well. I believe that is in May. And that's all I can announce for now. So, Alex, last thing for you. Where can people find you on social medias, and what is your diary like coming up?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AlexT902. Make sure you go to NWA or National Wrestling Alliance.com/shop. Get we got a new Southern 6 shirt coming out, but until that one drops, the original is online exclusive, so all sizes are available. Go get that. Coming up next weekend, I believe the 26th. I'd have to look at a calendar, but this is going off the top of my head. I'm in somewhere at Harriman, Tennessee. Me and Carrie were in a tournament for the Southeastern Tag Team titles.
Is that the Harriman Heat show?
Yeah, that is correct. Then I believe the following week after that, May. Don't ask me dates, but we will be in Columbus, Ohio for Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh, cool.
The day after that, I got to drive back to Tennessee. That'll be May 4th for Pro Wrestling Entertainment, where I'm defending my heavyweight title.
Mhm.
EC3 is also coming to town that night. I don't think he's going to get in the ring with me because he's a coward. But I'll let him do his thing. We might cross paths in the locker room. After that, honestly, I don't know. I'm somewhere.
Crockett Cup on the 18th. We know that much.
Yes, Crockett Cup on the 18th.
Indeed. Well, Alex, thank you so much for your time, especially on a Saturday. It's really, as I said, it's really unusual for us to do a Saturday, but we're happy to accommodate any NWA roster any day. Just let us know. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing some Southern Six and from bringing some Southern Six to this show. But I think it's only fitting to end it with, if you're hot, you're hot. And if you're not, goodbye, everybody.